I'm so pissed off. These bloody foreigners, they're coming over here and stealing our jobs, and they're depressing our wages. I keep getting fewer and fewer hours at my place of work, and they never give me any real reason why. Their reasoning is always opaque, and it ranges from stuff like, oh, we just haven't got enough availability, we haven't got enough clients, even though I remember this happening around December, the Christmas period. Like, how in want of availability can you be in the most festive and busy period of the year, right? But it is getting absolutely ridiculous and unacceptable now. Do you know how many hours I was given to work today? Take a guess. All right, I'll tell you. Whatever it was probably wrong. 1.5 hours. 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's not even peanuts. That's peanut crumbs. Now, how the hell am I supposed to keep my head above the water? How am I supposed to pay things like rent? Supposing I had a place of my own. Or how am I supposed to pay for things like food, drinks, and rent? The bare essentials. When I'm barely working an hour and a half, and I get paid something like £13 an hour. So basically, 20 quid. That's nothing. Anyway, why am I so angry at foreigners? Well, because one of my partners, who I spoke with today, who worked with me on the same shifts that I was doing, he's an African immigrant. He's from Zimbabwe. I asked him. I told him today was my it was my last shift of the day, and I asked him, have you got any shifts after this? And he said, yeah, I'm going to be working until 10. And I was really thrown for a loop by this. So right off the bat, I learned in an instant that no, it's nothing to do with an availability crisis. It's not a shortage of availability or demand. It's that my company is actively taking away my shifts, my calls, and giving them to foreigners. Giving them to people who are used to putting up with more to getting less. And that's why, look, the idea that immigrants are coming over here, not only are they stealing our jobs, but they're depressing our wages. Well, it is true, and my lived experience is an example of it. There's so much bullshit in this economy. There's so many young men who are out of work and unemployed, who want to make a difference, who want to work hard and, do right by their community, but the system is rigged against them. Because these greedy, money-hoarding companies offering low-wage work, in some case, it's really important work, like care work, something that's, honestly, our society could do with more of. And I put it to you, by the way, that there's nobody would put their nose above working a care worker job if it paid good wages and it paid a regular supply of hours. But what would they rather do instead? They just rather depress your average wages. They give you few hours as possible, and they give you these opaque and fake, fantastical reasons as to why you're not getting any more hours. They'd say, oh, it's a lack of demand, or oh, we're just not that busy, even though this is taking place in December. And suddenly you find all the hours that you're supposed to have. It's the foreigners who have those hours. People from companies where they live in mud huts made from their own shit. And I'm not even angry against the guy in question, the Zimbabwean immigrant who I spoke to. I don't actually have anything against him as an individual. I quite like him. At the very least, I don't hate him. It's not personal. But the system is unfairly giving him privileges that he doesn't deserve over me. The whole system is rigged against unskilled or semi-skilled working or lower middle class white English men, and that's unacceptable. Anyway, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I've already started looking for other jobs. I'm not going to quit this job, mind. I'm going to start working 2 jobs, or possibly 3, because the situation is that dire. And if I ever get another day where they want me, where literally my calendar's empty except for 1 half-hour call or 1 single-hour call, I'm going to say to them, forget it. I'm not turning up to this. This is not a good use of my time. Because I would rather, honestly, they give me fewer days. I'd rather I get back-to-back, no shifts at all, then be given days where I literally only have 1 or 2 work calls, but each one is only an hour or half an hour, because it's just insulting. I have to drive all the way down to Newport or Cowes for this. You know, I have to take time out of my day where I could be doing other things. Like I could be walking outside and going for a walk, or having a coffee, or just chilling out. But I can't, and I'm not doing it, and my free time, my leisure time is not being put to good use. Because we're being taken for a ride. So I'm going to start trying to maximize the use of my leisure time. There's one company that I've applied for who aren't working under a 0 hours contract. They will give me guaranteed hours. And it's in a specific location, which is good, which is a lot better. That's not to say, though, I'm still not going to quit this job, but I'm going to take the few days they give me where I do have more than 3 or around 6 hours of shifts compacted together, and I will stick around for those days only, but the rest, get stealing my time as well as my wages. It's unacceptable. It's horseshit. We don't need these foreigners coming over here. The foreigners, they're not contributing anything. They're depressing wages for working people. They're making everything more expensive. They're artificially driving up the price of houses in the housing market. They're probably driving up the prices of goods and services. They're contributing to things like crime and a sense of dysphoria, because nobody knows what kind of country they live in anymore, because there's so many pockets of inassimilable migrants from all different corners of the world, each one speaking their own patois, their own fake language. And on top of that, if you speak out against this publicly, you criticize the system, you're a racist, and you get chucked in prison. And they don't get chucked in prison unless they commit a crime that's so heinous that even this gay leftist globo homo Starmer administration can't ignore it, however much they would like to. I hate this country, man. The UK. Each day that goes by, I feel like I'm being punished. I'm being actively punished for being too poor to leave this country. Like, at this point, I'd rather live anywhere else. I'd rather live in Brazil. You know, at least the cost of living isn't so out of kilter over there. I'd rather live in Ireland. I don't know where I'd rather live, but I'd love to be in a situation. I'd love to be in a position where I could explore my options. You know, where I didn't have to be stuck down to this miserable, grotty little island full of and where we have this ideologically insane bunch of ragtag lunatics running the circus that is our parliament, where they're completely unresponsive to the needs of the people. Tens of thousands of British people are leaving the country, and I wish I could be one of them, but I can't because I'm too poor. And you know what? If YouTube issues me another community strike, or if I get a knock on the door from the cops and they chuck me in jail, well, that'll be just as well, won't it? You know, that'll be the cherry on top of the cake. anything, it would just... Oh, I'm too exhausted to even care about that now, because I'm just... Oh, it's all so tiresome. It's all so tiresome.